Terry,
Dan?
another week, another recruitment miss for our good friends, the.
What are we going to do about it?
What are we going to do about it?
What can we do about it?
We're here to help.
We are here to help.
Are you a below average NRL first grader who's not quite ready to go to England yet?
Do you like beaches like Cronulla or Manly, except way worse?
Well, have we got the place for you?
Come join the club that's been turned down by such superstars as Kalen Ponga, that guy who played one game for the Warriors, and the guy that hadn't yet debuted.
The.
We've given him some help.
We have. We filmed the recruitment video. Please feel free to use it. You need it.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by our good friends at Top Sport, onelittlefootyfan.com.au and the Stubby Club. Don't forget to give them a follow on all socials. Dan, good weekend of footy.
Great weekend of football. The finals are growing near.
Yeah, and on that, the finals are all but locked in.
It's controversial. A lot of teams aren't going to like to hear that.
I just think now the gap is too much for the Raiders. They're 4 points behind the Roosters with a shocking for and against. You're banking on the Roosters losing a couple of games. They got a tough draw. It ain't going to happen.
As soon as you're relying on other teams,
Yep.
and as soon as you're saying it's still mathematically possible, it's not possible as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, the minute it's out of your hands and in somebody else's, you probably don't deserve to be there.
Look, last week we said if Manly lose, they're gone.
They're gone.
The Dragons joined them on Saturday night too. It was good to end their season just between us. Look, Canberra are, for mine, the only team that can jump into the 8, but it's a long shot at best.
Yeah, they're for and against minus 100 and something.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's awful. That loss to the Panthers.
Would you say it was the worst thing to happen for the Raiders this weekend?
Look, no.
No.
Obviously, we're going to talk Ricky Stuart and the blow up.
Yes, we are.
It's, one thing Ricky Stuart's really good at when his team has a diabolical performance, he's really good at going to the press conference and taking the focus off the performance and onto him.
Yeah, shifting the blame.
What did you think of his comments of Jamin Salmon?
I still cannot believe we're sitting here talking about this because I cannot believe it happened.
Yeah, they cut to it at halftime in the Sharks game. I was watching the game at home, and when it cut to him and he said it, it was one of the things like, he didn't say that. I couldn't believe he said it. And then after he said it, you're like, he seriously didn't say that. 24 hours later, I still can't believe he said it.
No, it was one of the all-time brain snaps.
That is
from
a brain snap.
Like, that's something you expect from idiots in the crowd after 6 or 7 tins when your team's just lost a game. Not one of the game's most respected coaches. And I know we like to rag on Ricky because of moments like this. But the fact remains, he's one of the best players of all time. He's one of the best, most successful coaches of the modern era. He's come out and he said something that, it's incomprehensible.
Over a junior footy game that happened a decade ago.
Even so.
Now, Jamin Salmon's parents have released a statement saying they want the NRL to come down on Ricky Stuart. For mine, he can't coach a game this year.
Look, I was going to come on here and argue, fine him, etc., etc. But he's gone in as a coach and called a player a name, a horrible name over, as you said, something that happened a decade ago. His mind's not on the job, so I think it's in Canberra's best interest to go in and stand him down for 4 weeks and take it out of the NRL's hands. Because if they do that, the NRL are going to go, okay, that's sweet, done. And I think the Salmon family will say, okay, all good. If Canberra go in and say, no, we're backing our coach, and we've seen Stuart back down only because he was forced into it, then the NRL are going to come in and say, well, you can cop another 4 weeks next year as well. This could be really bad unless it's handled well over the next 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if the Raiders don't stand him down and Ricky Stuart refuses to stand down, legal action will get taken on this.
There's every right that it should be. It's not like he said, he's a grub, it was intact. He kicked out, it's a penalty. I'm glad it was penalised.
Yeah.
But this ridiculous overreaction from a coach who's he lost his mind.
And not only that, but the next morning he lost his mind. Like, Ricky Stuart should have woken up, called all the respected journalists, not Danny Wilder.
No, called us.
Called the respected journalists and said, what I said was terrible. I need to change my statement. I'm apologising. I'm apologetic. But no, Danny Wilder calls him. He's not backing down. The NRL apparently called him. He's not backing down. And then when there's the threat of the legal action, he backed down. Terrible look for him. He cannot be on the sideline. Like, if he wants to go to a game this year, he should be a paying customer.
Yeah, sit in the grandstand. Not good, and it really shows the pressure Canberra under.
Now, speaking of not good, an injury to one of the game's best players. You and I said he was the best halfback at the beginning of the year. Jerome Hughes. Now, scans have cleared him of serious injury. Melbourne have said 1, perhaps 2 weeks. Look, as someone who's had this injury before, it's usually about 3 to 4 weeks. But, you know, they get obviously all the sports science, and it was a lot different when I did the shoulder injury now. But, you know, when it pops out once, it can go again if you don't give it enough time to heal.
Didn't look good on the night. I thought the worst, and the original prognosis, or diagnosis, whatever that word is, was he was gone for the season. Now, he's probably going to sit 2 weeks, because if it's 1, you give him 2, because it doesn't really matter for Melbourne. Melbourne make the 8 and they're in now. They can finish 8th or 1st. Doesn't matter. Melbourne or Melbourne. What it does do is it gives them another chance to play Cooper Johns, who was outstanding on the weekend.
Absolutely outstanding.
And just a shout out too, we listened to ABC Radio the next day on the way back from the Jets game, and he did an interview. It was top class. This kid's really, switched on. So there's a positive there, but I mean, you don't want to go into the finals with Jerome Hughes with his arm in a sling, which it looks like they're going to.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Cooper Johns and how brilliant he was, is he the type of player that our good friends at the should be looking at?
Look, definitely. He's the sort of player that you go, look, he's got a lot of skill. He just needs a run. Now, he and Trindle are probably the halves that you go for and say, look, you're not getting every game there. Why don't you come play for us? Rather than investing money into a bloke who, 4 years ago was very good and a kid who's never played first grade. But now that they've got our video, mate, they can get whoever they want.
Now, speaking of not playing first grade for a little while, James Fisher-Harris, Tarek Sims, both been charged with grade 3 offences. Let's start with James Fisher-Harris first. When I saw that shot, I thought he was gone.
Yeah, I thought he was gone too. We got Penrith fans saying, it was this and that. It was a terrible tackle. He's copped the bloke on there, knocked him out, cost him the rest of the game. Just a couple of weeks ago, they're saying, well, they'll hurt the bloke, so that's got to come into it. Now they're saying injury doesn't. Look, I don't want to turn this into an attack on Penrith, but...
Yeah, look, taking the Dale Finucane incident out of it and Penrith fans out of this, he hit him high, copped him flush, knocked the bloke out. I honestly thought he was getting sent for this. Now, he's been charged with a grade 3, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I think Penrith have got the minor premiership wrapped up after this game against Canberra.
Take it.
Take the 2 weeks, get him fresh, and then going into the finals, you've got a fresh Luai, a fresh Cleary, and a semi-fresh James Fisher-Harris. Like 2 weeks. 2 weeks off for a prop this year. This time of the season. It's like gold.
It's not a negative. The tackle was very negative, and it'll be lost in that because it doesn't really matter, but it was disgusting. He was lucky to stay on the park. Penrith fans, though, were saying that Kotrick's tackle was worse.
No.
I disagree massively.
Yeah.
Now, look, the coat hanger over the top looks worse on camera than it is. I think that Fisher-Harris's attack, which is what it was worse than what Burgess got sent off for just last week.
Yeah, the Kotrick one, it looked bad, but it hit the ball, it hit the shoulder, then it hit the head. 10 minutes in the bin, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, Tarek Sims, obviously, it didn't look good that Connor Tracy was knocked out, stretched it off. Good news is Connor Tracy's up and about.
Great news.
What were your thoughts on Tarek Sims?
When I saw it at first, I thought he was gone. Mm-hmm. I thought the reaction, taking into account that Connor was laying motionless, big shout out that he's up and about. Yep. It's fantastic because that's scary.
Yeah.
When a bloke's laying there and, they used to give the thumbs up. He wasn't moving. Now, I know that's precautionary, etc., but you don't want to see it. I think Tarek showing concern, he knew what he'd done and there was no malice in that at all. It was a complete and utter accident, which I think is why he stayed on the park. I'm okay with the sin bin. At first, I thought he was gone, much like Fisher-Harris, but I am okay with what it was. I think 4 weeks is about fair because of priors. Yep. I think it's 2 weeks otherwise because I put it on par with Fisher-Harris.
Now, when you see it in action and you see Connor Tracy on the ground straight away, you're like, well, he's killed him. He's got to go. You see the replay of it. Connor got chopped on the legs and it wasn't a swinging arm. I think that's the first thing.
Yep.
It wasn't a swinging arm. Now, the second thing you got to take into account, Connor dropped the ball because he was dead.
He was out.
Blake Laurie celebrated because he thought it was a knock-on.
Yep.
Tarek Sims has pointed straight away and told the Dragons, like he knew he was in trouble, down on his haunches, speaking to everyone about it. And he actually calmed the situation down, because if they celebrated, Cronulla are going in for a fight,
Yeah, 10 times.
But he literally pointed straight away and was like, we cannot celebrate this at any stage. I think that's what saved him there, and also because it had been, Connor was coming down and it wasn't a swinging arm.
No, it was completely
If
accident.
that's a swinging arm,
he's gone for 6 weeks. No, look, it was an accident. It happens. It's horrible, and you want to get those tackles out of the game.
Yeah.
Some things, unfortunately, are unavoidable.
Now, the Newcastle Knights, they bounced back with I can't say comprehensive win. It was a dreadful game.
It wasn't good in any way.
It was two dreadful teams. You could tell that one team had been coached by a coach that had been involved in 4 grand finals.
Yeah, definitely. He comes out a week before, and, he answered the critics.
Mate, he did. And the Knights bounced back for him as well, because during the week, there was all the thing about Clemmer and the HR and the trainer and other players playing for Adam O'Brien. I think the players are playing for Adam O'Brien. They're just really bad.
Yeah, that's it.
They're terrible footballers.
It's not a lack of effort. It's just a lack of skill.
Now, commentators are sitting there going, where's this performance been from the Knights? You can't play the Tigers every week, because if you did, every team would be undefeated.
Yeah, look, it wasn't a classic victory,
No.
but they needed a win, and they've avoided the wooden spoon now, which in itself is good for clubs of that ilk.
Now, speaking of clubs of the year, it is down to a 2-team race
You're guilty.
for the New South Wales Club Team of the Year between the Penrith Panthers and our Cronulla Sharks. Now, the point system ranks if you're first, second, third, fourth, all the way down to the bottom. And it goes across the 3 grades, obviously first grade New South Wales Cup and Jersey Flag. Penrith are runaway minor premiers in
First grade. 16 points.
And as it stands, we're third. Mm-hmm. We're first in New South Wales Cup. They're second, so we claw a point back. And then we're fourth in Jersey Flag. They're fifth. So at the moment, it's tied. But I am told if it goes to a tie, Penrith take the Club of the Year ranks.
Well, finishing minor premiers in the NRL probably is fair enough.
But no one else can. It's between us and Penrith.
Look, Cronulla are right in it. No, it's
Cronulla
good.
are in it, yeah.
So, Penrith,
Yeah,
they're good. But Cronulla, just as good.
Dan,
Talk to me, Terry.
first guest.
A special guest?
A special guest. What you got for us, Guru?
G'day boys, thanks for having me on once again. Round 21 done and dusted. It's just about to wrap up behind me, as you can see. The top 8 race getting very exciting, as is the top 4 finish. Business end of the season, not far away. Best time of the year. Now, Cameron Munster, he moved to fullback on the weekend for the Melbourne Storm. Absolutely brained it, like he has on many of occasions in the one jersey. Personally, I think if the Melbourne Storm are really going to give this premiership a shake, it's probably where he needs to stay. Rumours around that Jerome Hughes could miss 1 to 3 weeks with his injury. If he does, it's going to be very interesting to see what they do. For me, though, I think Munster, he might be the best 5'8" in the game, but I think fullback is his most dangerous position. And if I'm playing the Melbourne Storm, personally, I would rather Munster at 6 than at 1. I think it's a move they have to make for the rest of the season, but we'll see what the Melbourne Storm do. Rumours floating around that Marty Tapau is going to leave the Manly Seagulls and he will sign with the South Sydney Rabbitohs for next year. These are unconfirmed at the moment. Can reveal to you guys that he does in fact live in the South Sydney area, Marty Tapau. So I think it would be a good little fit, and I think they're probably lacking just one more strike forward, the South Sydney Rabbitohs, before they can take that next big step. So hopefully competing for another premiership and a grand final. So Marty Tapau to the South Sydney Rabbitohs, this one wouldn't overly shock me. Ricky Stuart, he's been in the headlines this week, obviously made some pretty outlandish statements about Jamin Salmon, and heap of rumours floating around rugby league that they've got a bit of a history. Jamin Salmon and Ricky's young bloke went to school together. There's apparently been a few things that have gone on there. All rumours, don't know what's true and what's not true. What I do know is that this situation, it should have been handled better by Ricky Stuart, in my opinion. You can't really come out and say that about players after a game like that. It's unfortunate how it has played out, and it's going to dominate the weekend. I think Ricky has come out and apologised for his comments, but to do it live like that, very disappointing. You guys will probably know by the time you're watching this, the fine that Ricky does receive. I'm hearing it's going to be pretty substantial. So an interesting little situation to watch there between Ricky Stuart and the Penrith Panthers, backup 5'8", Salmon there. Thanks for having me on once again, legends. Look forward to talking to you next week.
Interesting.
Very nice, very nice. Speaking of very nice, Terry, our second guest.
Special guest?
Special guest. Cowboy Kate. After they got away with one, I dare say, on some afternoon.
I got away with 3 now.
Hey Dan and Terry, I hope you've enjoyed the footy this weekend. I did think the Sharkies would account for the Dragons. That's another good win for your team this weekend. Only 2 points separates both our teams on the ladder, and I foresee some finals fun coming our way in the near future. My team headed to Bundaberg in North Queensland to play the Bulldogs for what was meant to be a Dogs home game, but the crowd was well and truly in Cowboys colours, as you would expect. It was a fantastic crowd that showed up on a sunny Sunday afternoon, and I've been told it was sold out 2 weeks in advance, which is fantastic. I love when teams take their games to regional towns. They love their footy, and it should definitely happen more often. I was expecting a hard-fought game against the Bulldogs as they started to find some form and some good wins in the back half of their season. They've got Adokar, the Fox, and Matt Burton, who are combining really well, and technically any team who has Pangai Jr. should be considered a threat. We were down 10-0 early on, and the Bulldogs squared up to the Cowboys in attack and defence. For 30 minutes, we peppered their left-hand side defence with no luck at all. It wasn't until we made some subs and players like Ruben Cotter and Griffin Neame entered the game that our fortune started to change in that first half. The impact that our bench has been able to make this year is definitely a reason that we're able to sit second on the ladder at the moment. While the Dogs had all the fun in the first 10 minutes of the first half, we had all the fun in the last 10 minutes of the first half. Griffin Neame made an immediate impact, crushing over for his 4th try in his last 5 games. And your mate, Dan and Terry, Chad Townsend, rolled over for a try in the 33rd minute. Not bad for an old bloke, and I think that is his first try in Cowboys colours. If the halftime buzzer had not stopped the game, I think the Cowboys may have enjoyed a few more tries as they just started to warm up. It was 10-10 as they went into the sheds, and though the Dogs were still right in the game, momentum had just started to swing the way of the Cowboys. Saying that, just after halftime, Burton put up a magnificent kick again. The boot on that guy is absolutely insane. What an amazing skill to have. Anyway, that kick led to a Kyle Flanagan try, and the Dogs were back in the lead by 2 points. Now, because I'm a Cowboys fan, I know I'm not allowed to bitch about ref calls until at least 2052. I get it. But as an NRL fan, surely I can whinge about them whenever I want. There were a couple of tries that were disallowed in this game for the Cowboys, and I had an issue with the Murray Taulagi try being disallowed. They said it was a knock-on off Val Holmes, but even more surprising was when they awarded the try to Luciano. My point here, I guess, is that it's just the usual inconsistencies by refs and whoever is in the bunker every week that is a problem for fans. There was a point in this game where Blocker Roach, who was in commentary, said, well, is that one going to be a try? Who knows today? Now, is this where our game should be at? For all the advancements in technology and world-class bunker facilities, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter who you support. You know a bad call is coming your way. And when your team is playing and your opposition gets a dud call, you don't celebrate because you know your dud call is coming in the near future or the next game or the game after that. Teams work too hard all over the field, whether it be for possession, for tries, for the whole thing, for it just be up to pot luck or whoever's in reffing or whoever's in the bunker. Like many of you, I watch a lot of sport. This is the only game I watch where officials work so hard to disallow points. There's absolutely no regard to the idea of advantage being given to the attacking team. The viewpoint is always look to disallow, and it is a terrible mindset to have as a sport. Why no one at the top of this game can see that this is an issue when everyone else can see how blatantly bad it is absolutely absurd. Back to the second half. This is where the Cowboys really make their money. The back half of games for them is historically where they've been able to run away and win games by big margins. If I had $1 for every time I've mentioned the Cowboys' fitness level, I'd be rolling in coin this year, but it's evident. The speed of a handful of players in the back half of matches is just too much for a tired opposition to contain. Again, Scotty Drinkwater came alive with his skill set on display, 2 tries in the 68th and 75th minutes. When everyone else is tired, he gets going. He ended up topping running meters in the match with 183 meters and made 3 line breaks. The rumours are that other clubs are circling Scott Drinkwater, but hands off. Cowboys fans don't want him going anywhere, and it's obvious to see why. When we remember he only joined the team in round 5 after Hammer was injured, and we look at the impact he's had, it's quite extraordinary. Fun fact, Reuben Cotter was only on for 52 minutes and he ran 182 metres. Another fun fact was that we did finally get to see Hammer and the Fox in a foot race, and Hammer won that round 1 battle. In the end, the Cowboys were too strong for a valiant Bulldogs, but they've got a long way in turning their season around this year, and I think we can expect some good things for them in 2023.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, fair. Can't how do you argue?
Derry,
Talk to me, Dan.
time to talk some black, white and blue.
Feels good coming off another win.
Feels good coming off 3 wins, all 3 grades.
It's the second week in a row we've swept our opponents.
It is. Look, far from a fantastic performance.
This was like, a couple of months ago we said after the Titans game, this is a really good win for us to have because we played so bad and we dropped so much ball and it gives Fitz something to work with. After seeing this game, I was like, you can't have that again. It was pathetic.
War record errors, I hear. The judges have ruled and they've said that this was terrible.
35 errors in 2 games of football.
It's not good coming into the big end of the season. Look, we beat the Dragons and we've won 2 games in a row without Dale Finucane. Our defence has been outstanding. We just can't hold the ball. And
I just don't get it because the errors compound. Like we drop one ball, we drop another ball, we drop another ball, and it's not as if it's the players that you don't expect to. Like Cam McInnes, a ball on his chest, just dropped it cold. Jesse Ramian, an offload to Nico Hines, just dropped it cold. Toby Rudolph, now fair enough, getting his jersey held, didn't play the ball properly.
No, it's at the end. It's like, okay, we can win this game, but we've got to defend like our lives depend on it for the last 10 minutes. Just once I wanted to kick it to the corner, them make an error and us run in a try and get it done.
It's very, very frustrating. And then right at the end, just the way that the night went, Cade Dykes, perfect tackle on Jack Bird. The ball brushes Ramian's arm. Yeah. Another error.
It just, like I said, frustrating night. Our last 10 minutes of the last 2 weeks have been, Golden Point aside, terrible. But the preceding 70 were very good. Our first halves, we haven't trailed at half time for 12 weeks or something ridiculous.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
So, maybe we go too hard early.
This is what happens when you win 80, your last 9 games. We're playing really well, but it's Cade Dykes had a couple of errors. You get that. It's his first grade debut, but man, I don't know.
Super frustrating to come off a win against little brother and our bitterest rivals and still be a little bit.
And what's more frustrating is if we hold that ball, we beat them by more. So 35 errors. If we had held the ball against the Rabbitohs, it doesn't go to Golden Point. If we hold the ball against the Dragons, and some of it was just unnecessary offloads, third tackle offloads,
just kill the game. Yeah, look, we've probably done ourselves out of 24 points for and against the last few weeks, obviously 12 and 12. But we won. So it's all about wins at this time. It's all about getting into the top 4 and getting a second bite if we need it. So.
2 points is 2 points at this time of the year. And as you said now, we are a team that is trying to lock in a top 4 spot. And there's a big weekend of footy that can help us do that. But it's important, now we're not going to catch the Cowboys for and against, so we've got to hope that they slip up. Yep. So for us, it's just about we have to keep winning the games that we need to win. But this is a big weekend for us, Dan.
Huge weekend.
This is an absolutely huge weekend. The Panthers are playing the Melbourne Storm in Penrith. Now, we're fully expecting Penrith to win this game.
Yep, absolutely.
We're fully expecting Penrith to win this game. The Parramatta Eels are taking on the South Sydney Rabbitohs.
One of them's got to lose.
One of them has to lose, and you got to hope it's Parramatta.
Yep, that'd be nice.
And then that would put them both on 28 points.
Beautiful.
The Brisbane Broncos, I think they've got an easy game. They're probably going to win it. Oh, they do have an easy game. They're playing the Knights. You think they're going to win that? That'll put them on 28 points. If we win our game, it puts us on 32 points, clear away from the chasing teams, and then they have to stop worrying about what we're doing, and they have to start looking below them to avoid the Roosters.
You look exactly right. We just worry about ourselves. We got 4 very winnable games coming up.
Absolutely.
Three that I'm happy to lock in now, and one, we'll see how we turn up on the day. But this week you win, you put that between, then you can drop that game, which it's not the end of the world. So super important. Got to beat the Tigers. We've got the gift opponent, but you still got to turn up.
But the one thing that you don't want to get is complacent and see Melbourne lose and see Parramatta lose and then go, well, it doesn't matter if we put in a performance against the Tigers. And if you see them lose, you got to go and beat the Tigers by 20.
Yes, spot on. Because if you lose to the Tigers, then suddenly you're thinking, well, why are we wasting everyone's time?
It's huge for us. And I will say this, if we win this weekend and the other results go as it is, we've locked in that top 4 spot. Probably up in North Queensland.
Yeah, which I'm okay with. You play them, doesn't matter, round 1. But unfortunately, it looks like we're going to be without Connor Tracy for this week. It's going to be very, very difficult to get through the head assessment on this week. So someone's going to have to come in on the wing. Who's that for yours?
Oh, look, there's a lot of good options, right? So we saw Lockie Miller put in a good performance on the weekend. He was let down by Jesse Ramian defensively. Other than that, he was really good. And if he gets away, he's gone. Yeah. You've got the safe option in Matt Ikavalu, but you said was dreadful under the high ball for the Newtown Jets, but was great with the ball in hand.
In attack, he's been one of our best players 3 weeks in a row for the Jets, but he cannot jump. There will be a target if he comes in. Absolutely. Any other options?
Mawini Hiroti.
Been very good for Newtown.
Excellent for the Jets, but he's been playing in the centres.
Yes, where I think he needs to stay at Newtown in the centres.
Now, he's another one. If he comes in, suspect under the high ball.
Definitely.
The other option, Kale Iro.
Look, a couple of weeks ago, I would have been Iro for sure. I think you got to go Lockie Miller because there was about 4 chances on the weekend where he looked gone. There was one, we saw him get into space, albeit it was a knock-on, it correctly adjudicated, but Miller was gone. No one was getting anywhere near him. They didn't know when they started the chase. He was gone.
Yeah.
We need that. Now, he was a little bit terrible under the high ball.
Shocking.
Though, Cade Dykes, rookie, Lockie Miller, playing out of position, doesn't play a whole lot of wing.
Second game.
Ball goes up. You got Will Kennedy going, your ball or my ball. They're looking at each other. So, I'm okay with that. Does Cade Dykes hold on to the number 1 though? Or are you moving Miller back to the 1 and then talking about a winger?
I think Cade Dykes holds. I think his debut was solid without being spectacular, and he looked more comfortable under the high ball than Lockie did. Just leave. I think Sir Fitz will leave that there. Gives Jesse a chance to come onto the bench. Dale Finucane's back.
Yeah, look, I agree with that 100%. I think it'll be named as it ended the other night. Look, Trindle was very good too. Look, Dykes looked like he belonged. Now, there were a couple of errors. Again, it's a kid on debut. He can still play fleet.
Yeah.
So let's not get on him about that. In attack, he looked special.
Yeah.
His running game is very, very good. I think Miller in attack looked good. I think against the Tigers, you have to stick with the 2.
Yep.
If they bring in Irie, you're not going to get any complaints from me, but for mine, you leave it. Trindle's probably done enough, unfortunately, to grab a bench spot this week because he was excellent.
He was excellent, but again, if I'm fit, I'm looking at what's worked for Trindle and what's better for him. 80 minutes at Newtown because, but Moylan's quad, we don't know if it's going to be good or not, but it's more beneficial for Trindle to have the 80 minutes of football, whether it's NRL or Jets. It has to be one or the other.
He needs to start somewhere.
Can't be 9 minutes of footy in.
If Moylan's not 110%, I'm not risking him this week.
No, it's the Tigers. Trindle can kick them out. Look, no one's mentioning this on the weekend though. But every time Cronulla play a depleted team, it's always Cronulla being kissed on the proverbial pecker with a easy draw. Why isn't anyone mentioning the 6 players that we were at and how we had to go into a local derby minus 6 of our top line players?
Spot on, half our spine's gone.
Yeah.
Our leader in Dale. Look.
No Will Kennedy.
Yeah.
Sione Katoa, one of the best wingers in the competition. No Matt Moylan, who has been awesome for us. No Dale Finucane. No Royce Hunt, who has started in the front row for us 5 weeks in a row. No Jack Williams. Yeah,
look, it's an agenda. Now, the Cowboys have played 15 or 20 games in Queensland. They've been equally kissed. But you don't hear, oh, but the Cowboys this because the Cowboys that. It's all noise. Forget about it. You beat who is in front of you.
Yeah, and for mine, again, it goes back to the errors, but we didn't have the main senior players in there. Like, Will Kennedy doesn't make those mistakes.
Yeah.
Dale Finucane doesn't make those mistakes. Matt Moylan doesn't make those mistakes. But those mistakes happened.
Completely fair.
2 points is 2 points. We beat the Dragons. Little brother status now confirmed.
Oh, as if there was any question at all, but it is official.
Dan,
Talk to me, Terry.
it's time for some top sport tips.
Oh, I'm feeling good this week.
Between you and I, we've got a perfect round. You'll be able
Oh,
to.
beauty.
Absolutely.
Titans let me down again.
They're going to leave it down again this week as well, mate. Look, what a weekend we have coming up, though. Let's start with it. Thursday night, absolute blockbuster. Penrith Panthers and the Melbourne Storm. Panthers without their halves. Melbourne without
One of their halves and a fullback.
Ryan Pappenhausen.
Ooh, finals implications for one team.
Who you got?
Penrith.
Penrith win this, they're the minor premiers.
Penrith win this and they will be the minor premiers. They are just too good. Even their reserve graders are too good. Melbourne, it's
Round 22 and the JJ Gilton and Stuart is going to be there at Penrith for them to do a lap of honour.
It's ridiculous.
It's amazing. What an incredible season from the Penrith Panthers.
I don't want to talk positively about Penrith if we can avoid it, but I have a feeling they're going to go ballistic on Thursday night.
Yeah, I think they're going to win this game and win it quite comfortably as well.
Do us a favour?
Yeah, potentially. Drop that for and against down from Melbourne a little bit. That would be absolutely beautiful. What isn't beautiful? Friday afternoon, 6 o'clock, the New Zealand Warriors against the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs.
It's always one. This is that one.
Yeah, look, games back in New Zealand.
Crowd will be big.
Dogs are in form.
Crowd will be big.
Bulldogs.
Bulldogs.
Crowd will be big.
Yeah.
Friday night, 8 o'clock, blockbuster.
Now we're back to some football.
The Parramatta Eels against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Again, Parramatta fighting for a top 4 spot. The Rabbitohs fighting to keep themselves away from the Sydney Roosters.
It's true, and they're still an outside chance at a top 4 spot too, so I'm looking forward to this one.
I'm looking forward to this one. Now, no Mitchell Moses pegs the Eels back a little bit. They were fantastic against Manly.
Very good.
But Manly were really poor.
Manly aren't South.
Yeah, you can see that they're now missing all the players. It's catching up on them. They had their purple patch of form.
They did.
It's dropped off. South Sydney, they had a blip against us. Game they could have won.
Questions.
Yeah, they've answered the questions against the Warriors. They're going to win this game.
Yeah, I'm all over South. Another big crowd. This will be a
Latrell.
sellout, like a legitimate sellout.
Latrell Mitchell is going to go absolutely ballistic. Alex Johnson's going to keep scoring tries, get himself into the top 5 by the end of the year. South to win this game. Not comfortably, though. It's going to be a tough
No,
game.
it'll be close. And, if Jacob Arthur plays like he did this past week, his best game by an absolute, country mile. South, though, are just too good.
Now, this game's actually a blockbuster. Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock, the Sydney Roosters against the North Queensland Cowboys. At the Sydney Cricket Ground?
I believe so, yeah. Let's say that. It's definitely at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
It's definitely at the Sydney Cricket Ground. I think the Roosters are going to win this game.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to win it comfortably.
If there's one team I don't want to play right now, it's the Roosters. They are red hot.
If you give me the option as to the first team that can will win a premiership from outside the top 4, it's this Sydney Roosters team at the moment. Matt Lodge is a huge difference for them.
Yeah, look, he's been okay, but I think
He's been great.
I think Tedesco, Manu, Kiri, those three are ridiculous. Sam Walker didn't even play that well this past weekend, and they did that in the canter. They are worrisome, and I think they win this game, and I think, as you said, they win well. Beautiful sunshine, another big crowd. This will be a fantastic weekend.
Yeah, I got the Roosters winning this game. 5:30.
Game of the round?
Game of the round. The West Tigers against the Cronulla Sharks up in Tamworth.
Look, another home ground for the Tigers, which brings it to 36. A big shout out to good mate of the show, Corey, who's going to his first game this year. Hope you enjoy, mate. Anything less than a big Cronulla victory here. I know we said it last week, but I double him in it this week. Not forgivable. Yeah,
look, again, we either pad the for and against or we go into cardiac arrest. 2 points is 2 points. That's how we have to look at it. Mm-hmm. Who you taking?
Cronulla, convincingly.
I'm going for the jinx on this one. I'm going to pick the Tigers. My Tigers let me down.
Please.
Please let me down. 7:30, the Brisbane Broncos take on the Newcastle Knights. Look, the Broncos,
They need a win.
they need a win. And what better chance to get now? We probably would have said this about the Tigers as well, but they've got a real chance now to turn it around. Now the Knights have got a chance to show that they're all in on Adam O'Brien. They're all in on the issues being over at the club. They're all in on making 2023 a positive one. Unfortunately, I think they're going to get flogged.
Yeah, I think they'll cop. Brisbane have been horrible for 2 weeks straight, which we didn't see for a long, long time this year. I think this is a bounce back. Put it this way, if it's not, they're gone.
Yeah, 4 weeks ago we were talking about Brisbane being a real threat for the top 4.
Yep.
Now you're talking about Brisbane could literally...
Fodder.
Yeah.
Finals fodder. They need to win this game, and I believe they will.
The start of your Super Sunday is a cracker down in Canberra. Now, will they be with Ricky Stuart? Will they not? They'll probably be without Joe Tarpany for this game. The Canberra Raiders against the St George Illawarra Dragons. Now, the Raiders' season's on life support. It is like all, Ricky Stewart standing there with the plug.
Yeah, it's teetering. They need to win this game, much like the Broncos. I fully expect them to. But from memory, the Dragons have got them more times than not in the last couple of years. The Dragons are gone. I think they fall away now. I think Ben Hunt has made them look considerably better than they are. I think they'll be exposed this week. I think Canberra will run through them.
We said it at the beginning of the year when the Dragons were named as the Wooden Spoon favourites. We said they had enough talent in the team to keep themselves away from the Wooden Spoon. They also don't have enough talent to get themselves into the finals. And those players have let them down and let them down big this year. And it's absolutely amazing that has happened. I think they're going to get hammered
This
by
will be the
Raiders.
blowout of the week.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Canberra by plenty.
And to finish off, your Gold Coast Titans are hosting the Manly Seagulls. Now, the Titans could get the win.
This may be the week I've been waiting, 36 straight
This is
weeks
10
for.
in a row. The Titans lost 10 in a row. This is 11 in a row.
It's not going to happen. The mighty Gold Coast Titans are going to win this game.
Look, I almost want to pick the Titans just to support you, but
Just don't.
look, I know Manly's season's over, but you don't want to be the team that loses to the Titans, right?
No, you do not.
You didn't want to be the team that lost to the Tigers. You don't want to be the team that loses to this Titans now.
I think they will.
I don't think they will.
Probably not.
I think Manly win this.
Yeah, me too.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by Punctured Media, our great friends at Top Sport, onelittlefootyfan.com.au and the Stubby Club. Don't forget to like and subscribe, order all your merchandise from there, buy some more of our t-shirts.
Please.
They're running low, jumpers are running low, the hats are selling like hotcakes as well.
Good.
The comment section, we don't know what happened, but still trash. Just send us a tweet, whatever.
Yeah, give them. And if we doesn't go, send us emails, whatever.
Yeah.
Find us at work, just tap us on the shoulder.
Absolutely, just annihilate us.
Yeah,
please.
that's all good. Speaking of annihilating, mate, Sharks, do we go 3 in a row in all 3 grades?
We do, again, for the third time, because it's...
Rugby League, baby!